Agogo says he has been sacked.
Yeah, sacked. Yeah,
they just take English polish.
Yeah, English polish has sacked.
Yeah, so that's the situation at the Stamford Bridge at the moment.
Yeah,
they have a few big matches coming up, and you think that they would have allowed Maresca to see them through those matches. Unfortunately not. They will have to find a new gaffer, and I don't know whether this throws the whole team into disarray.
Has himself to blame, one, and then the Chelsea management also have themselves to blame. And I think that the general direction of Chelsea is just a bit off for me at this point. I think it's just a general direction of Chelsea. And when you look at, and I'm a strong believer of teams having a certain identity, and when a team has that kind of identity, you stick to the identity. Whoever manager comes, whoever owner comes, that identity has to seep through the team. No matter what it does, they just have to be, that identity just has to be there. Chelsea has always been the team that, in the Abramovich era, when they got their most success as a club, they've always been that team that has brought together units. They brought together players. They've signed some top level players. You understand? So they brought in Drogba after he had won the top goal scorer in League One.
Yeah.
Then they brought Michael Essien, who had been the best player in League One the next year. Then they brought in how do you call this guy? Mattia Kezman. They brought in all those players they brought in at that time were players of a certain level of quality. And even Mattia Kezman, who wasn't starting then, would start now at Chelsea.
Easy.
Yeah.
So it should tell you that Chelsea was a very competitive Chelsea. So whoever owner you are, you don't just come to Chelsea and say that I'm scrapping that and I'm buying kits.
Yeah.
And the kits you are buying are not cheap.
that's
It's not like the kits are cheap. This you're buying a 21-year-old for so much money. Look at how much you bought Mudryk for.
Right now, we don't
you
even know
understand?
where he is.
And look, because I saw the list of players, 22 players in the last 2 years. Let's say Chelsea had put all of that money together and they had bought 5 players of Lamine Yamal's quality or 5 players of Estaval's quality. If Chelsea had 4 Estavals, they would be fine.
Yeah.
You understand? If Chelsea had 4 Estaval, or let's say 2 Estavals and one other great guy in defense.
5 Caicedos.
No, exactly. If you have one guy who's like
the
a commanding person in defense, they will be fine. And right now, look. I'm just looking through. I'm looking across Europe, and look at the players Arsenal signed. They signed Pierre Hincapié. That guy improves Chelsea's defense by about 70%.
Massively.
You understand? And I just feel like the structure of Chelsea and the direction they are taking is just not helping the club.
More of a business approach.
It's a business approach, and Chelsea is not that kind of club. You see, and look, people would say that, oh, maybe it's because of Abramovich, but I can take you back to '97 when they won the UEFA Cup. In that year, they had Gianluca Vialli, they had Ruud Gullit. Those guys were not some minnows. Ruud Gullit was a baller. And then he chose Chelsea because, and Marcel Desailly was in that team as well.
Before the World
you understand?
Cup,
Desailly was somebody who was like a world beater. He had won. He won the World Cup as a France national when he was playing for Chelsea. That should tell you something. You understand? So Chelsea's direction is very different. It is the same direction I have about what Amorim is doing at Manchester United. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, and when you have an identity, you stick with the identity. And you see, I hear a lot of Chelsea fans say, "Oh, we are not Arsenal, so if you can, we'll sack you." And look, that's Arsenal's thing, and it's the reason why they've stayed with Arteta, and it's working for them. Even if they don't win anything, they're still getting what they get. You understand? Chelsea the management just needs to change something about how their money, because you can't tell me that as a club like Chelsea, oh, I'm buying a player so that 5 years when he's good, I'll sell him. What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's even the type of
club
contract.
like
This is a club that is rubbing shoulders with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, now maybe not Manchester United, but at the top level of football, Chelsea is there. Chelsea is not a Borussia Dortmund.
So
it's not an Ajax.
So it means that whichever manager comes in will not fix the problem.
Whichever manager comes in is not fixing the problem now. You understand?
Okay.
I strongly believe that the squad Chelsea has now, they should comfortably make top 4.
Yeah,
if they have a good enough manager, they should comfortably make top 4. Because they have a very decent squad.
But there are talks about bureaucracy and players not being allowed to play, and Maresca being forced to rotate people based on.
Then maybe he was sabotaged. Maybe he was sabotaged, and we don't know the extent of how bad everything was. But maybe he was sabotaged.
But when he says that those were his worst 48 hours at the club, or he feels like many people at the club do not want him there, or when he says in quotes do not want us here, it means that there's something really serious going on with management.
So with that, I mean, we've now found out that with the injury situation, look, it's not like they didn't want him to play certain players, right? That's what I'm saying. That I love what Kawawa said, because it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah.
You have to look at it holistically.
I was going to come to Maresca himself. He's not
have
free.
to, because
nobody should say Maresca is Maresca shouldn't have been sacked. He should have been sacked. Because the results were poor.
And if you look at it, the injury thing that the injury thing that has what do you call it brought this whole, like, they're selecting players for him. It's not that they're selecting players for him. Look, Fofana was bought from Leicester City, and he's missed like 80% of Chelsea's games in the last 3 years. Do you know that in the last 3 years that Chelsea have signed Fofana, Chelsea have won 2 trophies. Fofana hasn't had a single medal. But he has been in the Chelsea squad. That's how bad his injury situation has been. So the new medical team that was placed in charge, right? They were placed there for players like Fofana, Reece James, to be able to play a long period of time. Reece James 2 days ago celebrated 1 year consistently of injury-free, and that has never happened in Reece James's career. Do you get it? So if you ask them, it's working. Their medical squad, their medical team, having them not play consecutively for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, it's working. But where Maresca disagrees is that he wants Reece James to play 2, 3 games.
Yes.
He wants these guys to play 2, 3 games.
Yes.
But the medical squad or the medical team has been given the full autonomy to tell Maresca, no, Reece James will not play 2 games at a go. So that's where the issue is.
But there's a club where people take injections and play through pain. If you know anything about Chelsea, it can't be happening there. But Kawawa was making a point.
See, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Now it's left for you guys to decide. If you risk Reece James, which we've done before, he's gone for the season. That's the risk.
Yeah, that's the risk.
If you play him 1 game at the time, you have him for the full season, what would you do?
Kawawa was making a point.
So I mean, you'd maybe spacing it out is okay. Yeah. But the thing is that, look, for someone like James, maybe it's time he also looks at himself.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You remember how Ryan Giggs used to get injured?
Yeah.
He used to get injured every time.
A lot.
Consistently. Until he decided to change his lifestyle, took up yoga and several other things.
His diet.
And then you know he played for a prolonged period. So maybe James has to look at himself.
Absolutely.
You know, because I feel like sometimes there's a lifestyle problem. Rio Ferdinand has a story he tells about Anderson when he was at Manchester United. Anderson was injured, and you know he had done the surgery and everything, and he used to be injured a lot. So he was injured, he had done the surgery, and the rehabilitation process. Rio says they go visit Anderson, and at around 8 p.m. he was swimming, like he was in the pool. You don't do that when you are rehabilitating. You understand? And maybe it's a lifestyle issue. So maybe sometimes, you know, the players themselves need to look at themselves and say that I need to look, because look, Reece James on any day is easily one of the best players.
He's the best right back in the world.
So he really has to check himself a bit. Now I just want to go to Maresca. The thing is that you are coaching Chelsea. Me, I always say it. I always say it, as a CEO, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Of course.
If you are a CEO, let me just give you an example. If if the CEO of Cocoa Board comes to us today and says that, there's been a huge drop in cocoa, and there are so many excuses tied to it, about 10 or 15 excuses, and so because of that, Ghana's GDP is falling, would you take it?
Nope.
So why do you take it in football? You understand? So why do you take it in football? Because Maresca, you are one of the best paid coaches in Europe. You manage a club like Chelsea. Chelsea is not a small club. When you are there, no matter what, you need to get results. You understand? And there are certain results that Maresca missed out on that if I were a Chelsea fan, I would look back and say no. Because that game against Sunderland at home, that game against Sunderland, and there were several other games where you just could realize that Maresca's substitutions cost the team.
In-game management.
In-game management. It just cost the team, because sometimes Estaval is playing well, then come and sit down. This person go. Then you are sitting behind the TV. And what happened at Manchester United at Old Trafford? What happened at Old Trafford? If Chelsea had stayed put, they would have won that game.
When they got the red card.
If he had stayed put, they could have won the game. But those substitutions he ran, they panicked. It destroyed the rhythm of the team, and United just went on. And look, Chelsea played, and I tweeted it, and a lot of United fans were, because I realized that Chelsea were playing good football than Manchester United at Old Trafford, even with 10 men. So there was something there that he should have just checked. The losses against Chelsea lost against Everton.
Aston Villa.
Did they deserve to lose that game? No, the thing is that I understand that you can't win every game. You understand? I understand that you can't win every game, but not when certain teams come to Stamford Bridge and then they just beat you just like that. Sunderland went to Stamford Bridge. What did they do? Sunderland came to Old Trafford. What happened to Sunderland? So if I'm at the top hierarchy at Chelsea and I'm looking at certain results and the way it's going and stuff like that, I mean, I would potentially ask myself why the coach is not doing certain things to make sure that the team gets a consistent run. And consistent runs come when, number one, the players trust in you, the coach knows what he's doing in terms of substitutions and all of that. Look, I'm sorry, but like I started saying that it's a two-edged sword. Management is at fault. Maresca himself is at fault. And I don't think Chelsea fans need to complain so much. I think what Chelsea fans are worried about now is who comes in after Maresca. You understand? It's who comes in after Maresca. And me, I would always go back. Look, when Scolari was sacked, who came in? When what's the name? No, I'm talking about Chelsea's interim guy, the guy who always came and won. Gus Hiddink.
Yeah.
And you see, a coach like Gus Hiddink's caliber, you know that, bro, like this guy is like
top.
It's like top. He's not, maybe you won't say he's like a GOAT level coach or like but he's a great coach. He's a great coach.
Yeah.
You understand? But who comes in now after Maresca is gone?
Mid-season.
Yeah, mid-season. Who comes in now? Who? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, to be honest, because
maybe he said he's the one leading.
No, leading doesn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you see, the thing is, it's going to be really tough if you look at someone like Liam Roseneu, and I'm just wondering, like, what does he do differently? If we were talking about the confidence players have in managers.
Yes,
you understand?
Yes.
If you've worked with someone before, the likelihood for you to try to do something for the person is exactly. And I felt like the players should have.
He has 7 players.
You understand? The players should have given him that, or because he knew them from when they were coming up. He knows what to touch, the buttons to touch, so that they perform better.
That's facts.
And I think those were part of the frustrations as well.
Inside the contract, Chelsea stated that he has all the time, all the right to talk to any club. Yes, and I want to ask, as a big club like Chelsea, I don't really understand why they should make a contract like that for a coach, not even a world-class coach. Because when they wanted to sign Maresca, he was just a normal coach.
from the championship.
Yes. So now he's not even a world-class coach, but let's say above average. So I don't really understand why they decided to offer him a contract like that. So all the rumors started when we heard Fabrizio and other top pundits, especially David Ornstein, stated that Man City is talking to Maresca, likely to replace Pep Guardiola in case he decides to leave City. That's next season. So fine. If you're in a team like Chelsea and you realize that a big club like Liverpool, a big club like Man City wanted to sign you to their team, then you have all the right to negotiate with them. And inside the contract, they have a clause that he has all the right to talk to any club. Any club. And even today, according to reports, Maresca wanted to play some players on a regular basis, but pressure from the medical team says that this player is not fully fit. So, beginning of the season, now if you realize that the captain, Reece James, will start this weekend. Then, let's say the next 2 weeks, Gusso will rather come and start. He was just rotating the players. Maresca was not able to start first 11 for, let's say, 2 games on a row. That was pressure from the medical team that their players are not fully fit. So you should try and manage them well. So meaning, one, Maresca don't have all the power to make his own decisions. We have power from the board, power from the medical staff. And I'm asking myself, if you really want to build a project, if you really want to build a team, and this is what is going on, then I think you guys don't know what you are doing as a football club. And we all know about the US owners. They will come into your club and they will think about the business aspect of the team. And they told Maresca that he should start some players so that their value will go up, so that they will get good price tag for them, which is bad. You want to build a team. You are not here to, let's say, oh, Chelsea is a good football club. They sign a coach just to come and play. Now you can ask yourself, is Chelsea a title contender? No. They are now thinking about trying to make it to the top 4. So I would call this a project. If they really want to go forward as a club, going forward, if they should go in for a new coach, and I don't think they will go in for a world-class coach. Let's say a coach like Zidane, you can't do this with him. A coach like Pep Guardiola, even Mourinho, they will ask for the power. They will ask to make their own decision. They won't be there and allow the likes of Toboli, sporting directors. The funny thing is they send sporting directors from clubs like Brighton, clubs like clubs who are not even a bigger club than Chelsea. And with Maresca, fine, Maresca is not a world-class coach, but at least if you trusted him enough to give him your team, so give him all the power. At least if you won't give him 100%, trust him to make some valid decisions. So that's the problem, according to a report. Because we still want to know, because pundits, journalists are reporting that Maresca decided not to. Maresca was fully fit, but he told the Chelsea technical staff that he's not fully fit, so he won't even go for press conference. So the reports are coming in, but as time goes on, we will get to know the real story.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's said by Agogo. But let me come to Prosper. Thoughts on this breaking news? Maresca leaving Chelsea. Does it leave the team in disarray? Does it come at a very bad time for them? Mid-season is not the time you'd want to bring in a new coach. After the Club World Cup, if anybody had said that Maresca will be dismissed come the end of the year, nobody was going to believe that. But, I mean, what do you make of proceedings so far, Prosper?
First of all, 2025 is gone. 2026 is upon us. So, Charlie, I've been screaming since the party. So, Charlie, my energy and my voice is down, but I'm still going to do my best to.
But you
don't come and see something you don't have to see. Be very careful.
Very
careful. Let her go.
Yeah, this guy is using my video to build his account, and let's say if you start cashing out, you need to give me my card.
I'll
my dancing the Siciliano.
Yeah.
It blown around.
Don't worry, me. I save one for agenda 6. So
Anyway, Prosper.
Yeah, so New Year upon us. So we're still going to do our best to bring that out. This is a clear indication that there's been a problem between the manager and the board. or also the management, right? And I think that it comes down to, when I look at this, that I saw a list today of the last 365 days, or let's say the last year and a half, the number of players Chelsea have signed. And when I look at these players, most of them walk into the team. I'm going to use the Nicholas Jackson scenario or whatever as an example, situation as an example. They got a striker, Nami, who they paid money for, not so much, not more than 40 million, I think. It was 30 something at the time. Signed him from La Liga. They groomed him for 2 seasons. In each of those 2 seasons, they gave him time. He crossed 10 league goals. He finally gets some consistency in the bank. His 3rd season in, they go on to bring Dilap. They part ways with him. They bring in new strikers who now they need to equally give time to settle in. I look at the player they sign like Gittins. I look at Garnacho on that left wing. These are not level raisers. Garnacho doesn't walk into your team and lifts the team up on his own. Gittins doesn't walk into your team and elevates the team on his own. And sometimes I ask myself that most of the players that are in this Chelsea setup, were they even approved, or some of them, were they approved by the manager?
Yeah.
Or is it really about what the board and what Boehly and the likes are trying to do? You see, Chelsea and Strasbourg have a really good
Blue co.
Liam Rezanoa. They're looking at him as a short term. Look, when you look at what's happening this weekend, you're playing Man City. It's true that Maresca had only 1 league win in his last 7 games. The games against Villa, the games against Newcastle, Chelsea could have done better. True. There are times where he lets his team down, Maresca. I'm not going to deny that. With the kind of substitutions you make, or sometimes the kind of centre backs you field. But let's also remember, Cole has been out for. You are the Chelsea fan. Cole has been out for a very long time. Cole Palmer, who's been their best player, has not been available throughout the season. So Chelsea themselves have also suffered some injuries. The manager is part of the blame. But let's come to understand that the reason why they
so the injury is part of their problems.
No, we can't say that if Chelsea had their full squad available, they'll not be playing better than they've played now. We can't say that. They will definitely be playing better than they've played now.
Okay, hold it right.
Nami, I'm driving at the point.
Okay. I just wanted to reference you to the Real Madrid situation when he said I was making excuses.
You like Alan.
You remember he said I was making excuses.
So
don't worry, I'll come to you.
Here's the point.
Anyway.
Here's the point I'm driving to. Now, the reason why Chelsea have parted ways with Maresca. Yes, you heard the boos from the fans after the Bournemouth game, where they went on to sing that he doesn't know what he's doing, right? Fine, there's a sporting problem in terms of results. Sorry, over the last 7 or 8 games. True, there's a sporting problem in terms of results. But you cannot doubt the fact that they've got a decent manager who looks like if he's given time and he's given the right players he wants to use, he could build them something. This guy came up against Flick, beat him 3-0, came up against Enrique. In the big games, he can show up. Chelsea can play as poor as they've been playing in their last 7 games against Arsenal. In the last 7 games. But you could be sure, if you're a Chelsea fan listening to me, if you're a Real Madrid fan listening to me, a football person, that even with the poor results in their last 7 games, Chelsea would have still finished in the top 5. They would have still done it at Maresca. In his first full season, he won them 2 trophies. He qualified them to the Champions League. They are not qualified to the Champions League when they signed him. When they signed Maresca, they were not playing the Champions League. Remember, he took them to the Champions League. So I'm asking myself, why have they parted with him? If they parted with him because of the results, and now he wants to go the Alonso tangent, then he can get me. But the reason why they're parting ways with the manager here is not just about results. A result is not even 50% of the reason. It's because of the issues they have with the manager. I'm asking myself, which manager walks into Chelsea right now to fix the problem? You play Man City next. You have to go good Champions League matches to play to make sure you see your qualification to the top 8, or whether you go and play in the runoff or the playoff. So when I look at this Chelsea situation proper, I think Maresca has not been at his best in his last 7 games or something. But I think he was close to building something. One thing they've lacked since 2022, if they bring in a new manager, this will be their 5th permanent employment of a manager. Since 2022, we just entered 2026. In the span of 4 years, they would have had 5 managers. And when you do that, when Rashford was explaining transition, when you do that, You don't build, because if you're a Chelsea player, right, it's very difficult. And so I'm asking myself that now, where do Chelsea go from here? It's true that Maresca had his issues, but I don't think parting ways with him mid-season. Let's remember that the last time this Chelsea management, after Abramovich, parted ways with the manager mid-season, it went really, really south for them. When they brought in Potter, they Tuchel Potter. Let's remember what it meant for Chelsea and how they had to bring Poch back, get them to the top 6, now bring Maresca, get them to the top 4. And they were never going to win the Premier League. I said it towards before the beginning of the season that they were not going to win the Premier League. They need some consistency for 2 or 3 seasons to come for the title. But it's clear that with the manager they have, they were going to find a way if management allowed the manager to operate at his own will. And so when the manager says that, it's clear that some people here have not given the support we want. This has been the worst 48 hours of mine at the club. There are serious issues. You're going to sign Gittins. Agogo calls him curtains. He calls him chickens. Let's be serious.